Have you ever thought about what kind of a writer you are? You might not know this, but there are 4 distinctive writing styles, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this video today. So you can kind of have a listen to the different ways that people write, and you can kind of see which one do you fit into, because you might be very much one, or you might be a mix between all 4 maybe. So I'm going to talk about the 4 writing styles. 3 you may have heard of before, but one of them, this is one that I've come up with myself, and I'd be interested to know what you think of this 4th writing style. So the first one is a planner. A planner plans. Oh my God. Brilliant, genius. Now, some people love to plan. Are you the kind of person who really likes to know not only the whole layout of your book, but what is in every single chapter? What are the 5 major turning points? What is the ending? What is the beginning? Each chapter. Some writers are so methodical with their planning that they not only break down the structure of the whole book before they sit down and write a word, but they actually work out each chapter. What are the scenes in each chapter? What is the action taking place? How are things changing? They love spreadsheets. They love a good Excel document, and they have it all set out and all mapped out. Now that is a planner. A planner is the kind of person who has a whiteboard, they have journals, they're making notes all the time, they are writing everything down. They might even have sticky notes, and they might have a big old wall full of sticky notes, and they move things around, and everything has to be kind of structured and clear before they start writing. So for example, somebody like J.K. Rowling, the idea for Harry Potter came into her head while she was sitting on a train from Edinburgh to London, and she started writing everything down and making copious amounts of notes. She is an absolute planner, and that's the way she likes to work. And she apparently spent 5 years mapping out the whole series for Harry Potter. Now, for me, that would absolutely kill me, because I am what's called a pantser. That's the second type of writer. A pantser is somebody who likes to fly by the seat of their pants. Now, I particularly love the Stephen King method. This is how I wrote my 4th book, something like that. I think it's my 4th book. And I love this method. And this is an absolute pantser. And what a pantser does is you have no clue what is going to happen. But what Stephen King says is you pick a couple of characters, 1 character, 2, 3 characters. You have an idea of some characters in your head. You know what the setting is. It could be New York City, it could be the desert, it could be the bush in Australia. You know where your setting is. And once you know your setting and a couple of characters, you drop them in. It's like you parachute them in. You drop them into a situation, and you do not help those characters. You literally let them figure out page by page by page how in God's name they're going to get out of this situation they have been dropped in. That is exactly how I wrote my 4th book. What I love about being a pantser in this way and writing to this kind of a style is that you have no idea what's going to happen. You're writing the story, and you're like, oh no, this couldn't, oh no, now what are they going to do? And you're not allowed to help them. You have to let them figure it out. Now, if you are a planner, you might be thinking, that is terrifying. I mean, where are the ideas coming from? I mean, how am I supposed to know what's going to happen next? And I need to plan. And it's not like planners and pantsers, one is right and one is wrong. It's just how you write, because at the end of the day, The only thing that really matters is that you get a first draft down. Now, the third type of writer is what is called a planster. And I'll be talking a lot more about this in the next video, because as I've written more and more books, I've started becoming more of a planster. Now, a planster is when you're a cross between a planner and a pantser. So you're still flying by the seat of your pants, but you have a rough kind of an outline. And the rough outline really looks at those 5 major turning points. And there's a few things that you know in advance so that you are moving in a certain direction. And you know you're kind of aiming towards certain key turning points in the story. And I'll talk about that more in the next video. The fourth kind, and nobody talks about this kind that I am aware of, this is what I call a chancer. Now, a chancer is much more of a woo-woo, airy-fairy, woo kind of a writer. And you might be like totally down with this, or you could be like, okay, you're losing me now because this is just too out there. But this is much more of a spiritual experience. I'm not talking God. Do you believe in God? I'm not talking anything like that. You can call it, well, you can call it God. You can call, if you like Star Wars, you can call it the Force. You're using the Force, but you are using universal flow. You're tuning into source energy, whatever you would like to call it, but you are channeling. Now, I definitely wrote my second book like this. And this is where you are completely inspired. Now, you will know if you are inspired because you cannot stop writing this book. You're not trying to get that bum in the chair, and it's not a job, and it's not hard in any way. You literally are, the minute you finished work, you're like, I want to get home. I want to start writing my book. You are fired up. And that is definitely how I wrote my second book. I channeled this book, and it is a really divine experience. And in fact, I've written a lot of my songs this way as well. Like, I didn't feel like I actually wrote the songs. I didn't feel like I wrote this book. I felt like the book moved through me. Like I was just sitting there typing and it was just pouring out. And sometimes I couldn't type fast enough. It was just pouring so fast. And even when I walked, it was all I could think about. And characters were talking and I was like, gotta get home and get that down. So that is a chancer, and it is not a planner, it's not a pantser. It's kind of more like a pantser because you are flying by the seat of your pants, but you're not making any of it up. It is literally coming through you and you are channeling it. Now, a lot of people have this experience when they write like self-help books, or I think the Course in Miracles, and Wayne Dyer talks about it a lot. And it's that kind of more spiritual self-help stuff. Like you feel like this is a message that needs to be out in the world, and it's being given to me, and it's my job to get it down so that it can get out there, so that it can start helping people and changing people's lives. And that is what I would call a chancer, and it's a very beautiful, a very powerful experience, and you just feel like you have to get it out there. And Wayne Dyer talks about this as being inspired, being in spirit. That's the meaning of the Latin meaning, I think, for inspired is to be in spirit. You feel like this inspiration coming through you is like a divine experience. So I hope we didn't get too woo-woo in the end, but I absolutely love, the more woo-woo the better. I'm absolutely away with the fairies. Love it. My favorite thing ever. 4 types of writers. You've got your planner. They love their journals, their sticky notes. They're writing copious amounts of notes. They know exactly where they're going and where they're finishing off. You've got your pantser. You have no clue. You're doing the Stephen King method. You're dropping characters in a very sticky situation, lots of hot water, and you watch how they get the hell out of there. There is your planster, which is a hybrid between the two. You plan a rough outline, but you also don't really have a clue what's happening. And things can chop and change. And all of a sudden, the story goes that way, and you thought it was going that way, and you're like, ooh, that's exciting. I didn't see that coming. I love that way. We'll talk more about that in the next video. Then there is your chancer. And that is when you have been given something divine and you are channeling it and it is moving through you, and it is just your job to get it from the universe and put it down on paper. And that is the 4 styles of writing. And I would love to know which one you think you are. And if you don't know yet, I'd love to know how you get on and see which one is resonating for you. And I'll talk about each of them in more detail in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. And I'll see you in the next video.